there folks, Jason here again, and I have the third installment of my progress in the Great Bolt Action Paint-Off. Update nummer 3. And if you'll remember, last week I said that I was going to start working on my Opel Blitz and finishing up the squad of 11 regular riflemen, infantry guys, and then as a corollary to that, I can't remember if I mentioned it last week, that I was going to be tweaking the painting to make sure that the first 5 guys I painted matched the 11, so I could have two. So I could have one giant squad of 10, and then a couple other guys floating around to go with officers, or I could have 2 squads of 8. Well, plans changed a little bit this week, and I did get the Opel done, and part of the reason why I didn't get the infantry done because I was so frustrated with this. Focus. There we go. With this kit. So where did I put the box? I saved it specifically for use in the video, and it has disappeared. Nope, it hasn't. It's right over here. So as I'm bending over trying to pick something up while I'm filming, I'm not sure if a lot of you have used this kit before, but we're gonna flip this up really quick. Can see right there, resin and metal. 2 things right now that are not super high on my list. So let's get a bit more light on this. There we go. So I picked this kit up. I think I got it for sale or got it cheap on. I don't remember where I got it from. It wasn't a cheap kit. I think I did pick it up at the store. It was $32. And so generally speaking, I don't like resin kits. If you go back and look at some of the 40K stuff that I've done, they're just kind of a pain. And the Tiger that I did early on, the Michael Wittmann Tiger, that one came out okay because it essentially was just one huge block of the hull was resin, and then you had the 2 track sections which weren't too badly warped. So that was my first kit that was resin from Warlord, and then I opened up this one and it was kind of a mess. So you won't be able to tell here, but the bow, it went like this. So this is one whole piece of resin here. That's why the model is so heavy. And then it fits on the chassis, and so there's a huge bow here, and then between here and here, the back part of the cab was bowed so you couldn't get the doors in. And it was a major pain, and I know how to work with resin, and you can see I still can't get the top here to line up. This is a metal piece on the top. It was a major pain. I ended up snapping off the back part of it, trying to straighten it, and I had this thing under hot water forever, heat gun. This part was fine, but it was also warped to the side a little bit. There was a bow in it like this, and this is my first time at the old resin rodeo, but it just did not go together well. The construction of the so what happened is, so you've got the doors are metal on either side, then you've got the roof is metal and kind of the A-pillars that go down. I'm not sure how much I can zoom this in, about that far. So to try to get everything to line up without gaps was pretty much impossible. And it looks kind of like butt. I'm kind of anal about vehicle production and stuff, so I'm not 100% pleased. The kit was just very frustrating to put together, and it's still got the thing where it doesn't lie flat, which drives me nuts. So on the whole, I've been pretty pleased with Warlord stuff. I don't know if this is an older kit or it's just bad scene, but it did not go together well for me, and I got really frustrated this week. So that, and I kind of took sometimes you get painting burnout, and so I took a break and actually was playing Skyrim a little bit, one of my favorite games. And I thought I'd still be able to get this week's stuff done. But I just didn't really have it in me to, this isn't like a soul-crushing thing. Sometimes you get not excited about painting stuff, especially when you have frustration with kits like this one. So this weekend I decided, you know what, I'm just going to knock this one out. I used the Vallejo German Dunkelgrau vehicle painting set, and I think the paint scheme came out, or the paint job came out well. I'm never quite sure on how to paint canvas, but I just used Agrax Earth Shade. It's a mouthful. Wash on the top to kind of show where this thing was parked outside a lot, and that's where the rain would collect and discolor the canvas. Pretty pleased in general. Weathered it pretty heavily to kind of cover up some of the mistakes. Also, when I was painting it, just kind of had the cherry on top of this particular Sunday, I put my thumb down after I thought it was dry, picking it up, and like just peeled off a bunch of the paint here, and I couldn't get it to lay flat. I didn't want to repaint the whole thing, so I just dug into another kit, I forget which one it was, and got a blanket roll and threw it on the top there just to kind of cover up my screw up, which isn't that evident, I don't think. So yeah, and then just dusted it, just threw a couple decals on the side, did a little bit of fuel stains on there, and added some of the MIG earth, the wet earth, which I don't think it really works that well for vehicles because it looks really chunky. If you look on the bottom here, it's all right, I think. I'm also probably super skeptical about, bad-mouthing my paint scheme because I'm so frustrated with the build. Like, I was trying to glue this thing, and the pieces, the Warlord kit, like, there's not a notch for it to go into in the hood or in the fender here, so the piece kept falling off, and then I am losing it at my floor somewhere, so just a whole lot of quiet and not-so-quiet cursing going on at Jason's TGBAPO headquarters this week. So I'm glad the kit's done. It's a beefy kit. The pieces themselves, I guess the back looks good. I'm still, like, you can see here how poorly the windows match up and everything. It was just kind of a mess. So it's a truck, so it's not going to be like a centerpiece kit, and I think it looks good with the weathering and the dust, and I like dirty vehicles because most vehicles in combat don't stay clean for that long. Anybody that's been in a war zone before will probably attest to this. So I think for what it is, the kit looks fine. So I didn't end on a complete low note, so I was looking around and I had my airbrush out because I had painted this. I'm like, you know what? Is there just another vehicle I can do? Because I enjoy vehicles. I can get them done a lot faster than you can have that immediate gratification of having something finished. And I don't know if you remember, but I put together the plastic Puma kit from Warlord Games, and even though it took forever, Atelier made like the undercarriage super detailed. This kit went together like a dream, and so I just like, you know what, I'll paint that one up instead because it's been sitting on my counter space, assembled but unpainted. And so here this one is, and I'm really pleased with how this one came out. So I did this, the Dunkelgelb, the German yellow. Just followed the steps again. I didn't like put a lot of scratches and stuff on it, but I did weather it a fair bit. There's a lot of dust. I'm used 3 or 4 different kinds of weathering powders on this. I used the MIG earth on the bottom. I think it came out looking much better here. You can see, let's see how close I can get, the crazy amount of detail for the Puma undercarriage. Unfortunately, I didn't go through and paint all of it, like different colors and everything, so I just kind of dusted it heavily, pigment, sealer, and then jammed mud in there. I wanted this kit to look, or this vehicle, to look like it's been flying all around the battlefield, because essentially it was a kind of a heavy armored reconnaissance car with a pretty sweet anti-tank gun on it. So I wanted this one for my Panzergrenadier force to be driving all over the place, so I wanted it super dusty. I also, this is a rough week modeling-wise, I think I threw away all my decals. I put them in a special little plastic bag somewhere, and I, for the life of me, can't find them. And I just wanted this kit done, so the only numbers I had were for tanks, not for this vehicle. And so the numbers are a little large, but that's all right, I think. So I think the color scheme came out well. These are always rusty. And then I lost that piece there. So I think it came out looking well. I just put decals on the back. I'm not sure if that's where they're supposed to go. That's the little reconnaissance symbol. I also used some fuel stain afterwards. And I really like how the fuel stain came out. You can actually, it's because it's not acrylic. It's the other one, oil-based. You can layer it up, and it looks really. It takes a long time to dry, but looks good. And again, I think the different coloration each of the wheels looks really realistic here. Yeah, so just all I really had to do with this was base coat it, picked out some of the details with the shovels and the fuel canisters, and yeah, so this kit I'm really pleased with. I added some weight to it. I just threw some coins in the bottom. I think I'd seen British Legion do that, and I liked it. So you can take the turret off here for transport, and threw a dime in there. I don't think I get to fit, and then just chuck some coins in the bottom there. I like it when things have weight on the tabletop. Doesn't seem so flimsy, especially when we're spending so much on these kits. So it's got a little bit of weight to it. This is a pretty cool kit. I think it's a pretty cool model. I think it's pretty good in the game, but it wouldn't matter because it looks cool, and that's my general criterion for playing something. So that's what I accomplished this week. So 2 vehicles down. To add to my modeling woes, though, so I've been using the Plastic Soldier Army Sprays as a base coat for most of my German models, and they've worked out really well so far. So I'm going to set this guy aside. But I also had a little incident with the primer here. I'm not sure if it's going to show up here. I would have this occasionally with the army painters and some of like the white GW, but when you get the frosting and the flakiness, I had that on a bunch of, this is one of the infantry models I was going to paint up for this week. It just dried weird, and it wasn't bad weather for priming. In fact, it was great weather for priming. I don't know if it's because I'm near the bottom of the can, or I shook it the same amount I always do. So it's got this kind of flaky, you kind of want to sand it down. So I don't think I want to repaint it because I don't want to fill in all the details. So I'm going to work on these guys this week, and I might go back to all my infantry models because I dirty up my vehicle so much, but then I leave the models, like the infantry guys, kind of pristine. I might just dry brush a little bit of brown on their pants to kind of make them look dirty because they're not going to be clean either. So I'm hoping that'll cover up some of if the model doesn't end up looking as crisp as it could because of this bad primer stuff. So that's going to be my goal for this week, is to finish up 11 of these and then go back and match them with the 5 I've already done, or match the 5 to these paint schemes. That is a problem when you kind of stretch out your model painting, is your paint palette evolves a little bit if you're not careful, which I wasn't. So that'll be my other goal. I was also going to do the STUG as the next model or vehicle I was going to do, and I had a STUG kit, and it's resin and metal. And I looked at it, and the tracks were kind of warped, and I said, you know what, I'm not doing this. So I put it up on eBay. It's up there now. And I'm just going to go out and buy one of the plastic kits. So give me a chance to look at the plastic kit. I'm going to do a plastic STUG instead of the resin and metal one. So once I get these 11 done, I forget what's next on the chart. It might be the motorcycle and the mortar, but that'll be the next vehicle I do. So I hope everybody else's, excuse me. I hope everybody else's progress on the bolt action paint off is going well. We all have these hiccup weeks. Hopefully this is my bad luck out of the way. Can't complain too much. Still a fun hobby, and I'm still goofing off playing with models. So hope you guys are having a good one, and I will talk to you soon. Later.